Good afternoon. Give me one moment to make sure that I'm live here. And it looks like I am. And see if I can adjust my camera. Too much. It's hard to get it just right. Even though you're looking through, you know, down, and what the view is going to be, it never seems to be straight. But good afternoon. Hey, Mary, welcome back. Welcome home. Sounds like you had a really great trip. So welcome, Carol Buckalew. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I have something really fun to share with you today. Awesome. Yeah, it looked like you guys were having a good time. So I'm not making a card today. I have here my blog post for today. You can get all the details for this on my website, inkybstampers.com. Hey, Faith, thanks so much for joining. But I made this little wall hanging, and these flowers are from the Paper Florist dies. Akiko, hi, thanks so much for joining. Let me set this aside and share the dies with you. So the Paper Florist dies come in two sheets in the pack, and we have these dies all make the flowers, cut out the flowers, and then these are kind of all of the flower centers, if you will, and then we have some leaves here. This is a leaf with little flower buds that go on top of them. So very sweet, way fun. I mean, loads of fun. I lost track of time when I was playing with these the other day. Yeah, and I also wanted to mention, so the Paper Florist dies are in the annual catalog on page 165. If you can see them right here. And they are standalone dies, meaning there is no stamp set associated with them. And I missed these the first time around when I placed my pre-order, but I made sure to grab them up the second order I placed because they are pretty awesome. They are fun. And I also wanted to mention, on the back of the catalog, the photo on the back of the catalog, you will see some of the Cheerful Daisies dies in here, but you're also going to see flowers that have been made using the Paper Florist dies as well. So if you need some ideas, just flip your catalog over and look on the back page, because there's some ideas here. And then I pulled a couple of die sets that I thought would be a really nice complement to the Paper Florist dies, and that is the Dainty Delight dies. Did I get that right? Yeah, Dainty Delight dies, because there's lots of little flower images and vines and kind of stuff that you could combine with the Paper Florist dies. And then also the Cheerful Daisies dies, which you saw in the back catalog cover. You know, this leaf sprig right here and these daisies would be awesome to use in combination with the Paper Florist dies. So, you know, I just see like tons of possibilities with these dies. And I'll talk a little bit about that. But really today is kind of all about having a play here. And I am going to first start off. So I've kind of got my pieces. I've pre-die cut my pieces here. But I first wanted to start off using this die to create flowers. And then you can see this pretty little flower that I've made using this die. And I did a little bit of ink blending, and I did run this die through twice. So I've cut 6 petals, and then I kind of have a flower center. But I want to show you how to put together this flower. This flower let me grab my plaque here again. This flower is the same as this flower. So you can see this one's much flatter. This one is raised up, and I'll show you how to do that. And the one that is raised up or kind of cupped, if you flip that over, it's flat on the bottom. So it would be very easy to glue down to a flat surface. You know, it would sit very nicely. So I wanted to share with you how I created that one. Let me get some things out of the way here. Hope everybody's having a good day. We are having, we have a kind of hazy skies today. Not a cloud in the sky, but we are getting smoke from Nova Scotia. Apparently the jet stream has carried the smoke from wildfires in Nova Scotia down across New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. And yeah, so we have hazy skies. It's really quite strange. Hey, Tara, thanks so much for joining. These dies, Tara, are the bomb. These are the paper Florist dies, standalone set. So I wanted to show you the petal, right? This was the die. And, you know, this is it cuts out 3 petals at one time. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little slit there. And there's actually a little fold line across here as well. But I wanted to show you how I created this flower. And I'm going to simply bend up one of these little tabs where that split line is. And I'm going to apply just a little drop of glue. I recommend the Tombow glue to glue these flowers together. And then I'm going to kind of fold that tab over onto the other tab that I applied the glue to. I'm going to hold it for just a second. And you can see that it has now given me a little cupped petal. And I'm going to go ahead and try to quickly do that for all of these. And I'm just applying a small drop of glue. If you don't like glue and sticky fingers, this may not be the project for you because you're gluing such tiny pieces. It's kind of hard not to get glue on your hands. I try my best, but you know, it's just not always possible. You may also want to work over your silicone mat. I couldn't find my silicone mat. I don't know what I've done with it. I was going to pull it out for today and couldn't find it, so yeah. And so just kind of fold that tab up, slightly bend it over. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. And I'm just pressing that together to hold it down. And 2 more to go. You know, but I just wanted to share this with you, kind of how to put some of the flowers together, but really the possibilities are endless with this set. You know, based on the colors you use, you can color coordinate. These do not need to go on like an art project or a craft project like I did on the wooden plaque. You could, you know, certainly now you're not going to put anything this raised up onto a card, right? Because it's just it sits too high. However, it'd make a cute little flower to put on top of a gift, and you can make these flat as well. And I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So next, I've got one of the little centers, and in Berry Burst, and that is this die right here. So I've got this center, and what I am going to do, if I can get a hold of it, is I'm going to just apply at the tip where those tabs fold over. I'm just going to apply a little drop of glue, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to the underside of my little disc here that I cut out. Give it a hold for a second. It's the only thing. It's a little tricky trying to hold these and while you're waiting for the glue to set. Now, when I glue the next one on, I am going to overlap the first one. Hopefully you can see. And go ahead and just hold that down here for just a second. I have a feeling I'm not going to get through everything here today, but I'll show you as much as I can. The other ones aren't quite as complicated as this one. I'm trying to hold the previous one while I'm gluing up the next one. There we go. But think about, you know, so I went to Joann Fabrics. That's kind of the craft store near us, and they have a pretty good selection and good prices. You can always get coupons and that kind of thing. You know, and I don't think I paid more than $1, you know, 47, something like that, for that wood plaque. I simply lightly sanded it with some fine sandpaper, and then I applied 2 coats of just regular craft acrylic paint, and that was it. So, you know, not a lot of expense, but just think about doing these flowers, kind of coordinating the flowers by season. So spring or Easter maybe would be all pastels. You know, you could certainly, you know, create these for your spring projects and cards. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. I've got some early espresso here, and let me find my tool here. I'm going to use my Take a Pick tool with the cap on, and I'm just going to put that in the palm of my hand and kind of press up a little bit like that to just give it a slight curl. And I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on the back of this. Oh, thank you, Akiko. It was a lot of fun to make, but I have to tell you, I got a little lost while I was creating these. I mean, it's just so much fun. And I'm going to go ahead. That last one I glued on doesn't feel like it wants to stick. Hopefully it will. So I've put my little flower center in there. And now I'm going to put in a lemon lolly center as well. I just thought the contrast looked really, really good. So, you know, back to holidays, right? You could do seasonal, you know, you could do red, white, and blue for the 4th of July or Memorial Day or Labor Day, whatever. But just, you know, look how pretty. I mean, that is so pretty. So that is one way to do that flower. And I can see that that is going to need a little bit more glue. I'll have to fix that in a bit. I forgot to mention that on this one, I ink blended some Berry Burst lightly on the insides of the petals. So, for instance, I ink blended, you know, on this bottom portion, and then I created the little flower buds and ink blended those as well. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but they have a pink tone to them, and so, you know, it just gives it a different look. So that is one idea. If you were to, I'm not going to put the second one together because these are kind of the larger flowers, but if you wanted a flat flower, you are just simply going to, what I did with this, you know what, let me just put it together. It won't take long. So I have the petals here, and again, I have 6 petals, and what I did with these petals, instead of folding them at the tabs, I just took my bone folder on the back side and kind of pressed my thumb against the bone folder and just curled those petals downward. So let me just share with you how, you know, how you can do a flat flower using these petals for your cards. And I'm just going to make sure that that flower center covers kind of the cutouts there. And I've already curled all of these petals down. I want to make sure that I'm overlapping them, and I'm just kind of working in a clockwise motion going around the flower center. My glue's going to probably get gunky here. since I'm leaving it open. But just overlapping these, you know, will create a somewhat flatter flower that you could definitely put on a card. I can see these flowers being used for scrapbook projects as well. I think they'd be really super cute. I haven't seen a lot of cards made with these yet. I'll be sure to make a project doing a card with these. But yeah, just so much fun. You know, and then I was thinking Christmas, you could do, you know, have some pine or holly with some pretty red and white flowers for Christmas. Valentine's Day, you know, do some pink and white and red, maybe purple, would be equally as beautiful. So there is, you know, the flat flower. Let me go ahead and put its little center on. And I'm going to go ahead and just curl this center up again and get a little bit of craft fair projects. Faith, I'm actually going to be making some of these for the craft fair I'll be doing in December. So absolutely, these will be perfect. I saw on the demonstrator planning place that someone had made poppies using this flower petal and kind of I think the black center, and making poppies for, I guess to hand out maybe for Memorial Day, I'm not sure. But then you can go ahead and take either your Take-A-Pick tool with the little pointy end. I'm using my pointy end and my tweezers here, but I'm just going around and kind of picking up those stamens and curling them back up. The paper wants to keep flattening out, but you know, you definitely can. See, I'm flattening them as I'm going around it. I don't mean to. There we go. There we go. So you can see, hopefully, the dimension and just how much fun that is. But this definitely would adhere to a card. You'd have to flatten it in the center, but you can see that the edges are still remaining curled under. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so that is that. Let me show you another one here. I'm using all my little wood plaques to hold all my bits and pieces because they sure are tiny. So here is one. Now, these flowers aren't going to have the same center, but this one I just did in white, and I'll show you how to make this fun center here in just a moment. But let me go ahead and grab these little pieces here. And so these, I've got 2 large and 2 small, and the die that corresponds with those flowers is this one. So you get all 4 cut out at one time. And what I'm going to do with the larger petals is I am going to go ahead and curl down both of the large flowers. So curl that one down and curl this one down. There we go. And then on the 2 smaller ones, I'm going to curl these up. Yeah, I was super excited to be able to share this with you today. Seriously consider adding these dies to your stash. Just so much fun. See if my glue is not completely gopped up yet. Nope, it's still working. That's good. And then when you put these together, you want to make sure that you're offsetting the petals. And then I just glued that backwards. Oh, it'll be all right. I can just turn it over. Okay, so I want the large ones face down. I put it together wrong, but that's okay. Just flip it over. It still works. And then you want to make sure you're offsetting the next layer that's facing up. You can see I'm starting to stick to the paper here. It's hard not to get glue on yourself. And then we're going to offset that one as well and glue that together. That makes a really sweet, cute little flower. And let me go ahead and grab our little centers here. And this one has an early espresso center. That particular center, you have these two dies in the set. So one will cut a ring, a stitched ring, and a larger dotted circle, and one cuts the larger stitched ring and the smaller dotted circle. And then I've got a small yellow center here, and I'm not going to bother curling that up until I actually get it on the flower. Uh-oh. I think I'm going to need to clean my glue off here before I keep going. Go ahead and give that a good press together. Yeah, it's the one die, well, the petal dies with the slit in them that the first one I showed you. I was at a loss of how to use that little cut slit. And I went out to YouTube, and a shout out to Stamping with Amore. I'm sure others have figured it out, but she showed how to use those slits and pull the tabs together to create the curve on the flower. So shout out to her for showing how to do that. You know, and I have the same dies here, the flower that I just put together. However, this time I cut a tiny little black center for the yellow stamen. And these you can simply curl up. And it would create flowers like this if you curled up the petals. Now these, I only used 2 pieces, but you could use all 4 certainly to make it a fuller flower. So that is that one. Not too many more here to go. Let me get my pieces back with my flower. Alrighty. So I cut these petals out from Orchid Oasis, and I love Orchid Oasis and yellow together, and the lemon lolly is perfect. These 2 flowers are this die, so they're not completely uniform in how the petals come out from the die, and you'll see that here in just a moment. Let me go ahead and get a drop of glue there in the center. And these will stagger pretty good, not completely. But what you can do is definitely curl these, curl these edges up or down. So if we curl these down a little bit, and they're so tiny, they're hard to get a hold of. Let me see here if I can curl these up. It's so, well, look, I just broke it. Oh no, I just broke my flower, but that's okay, because I'm just going to add a little bit of glue there. So be gentle. Be gentle with your die cuts. I'm a little rough sometimes. But I'm going to go ahead and just glue that petal back on, because honestly, I don't think you're going to be able to notice, because I am going to add a yellow center here to that flower. Let me grab my tweezers. Maybe that would help me out here. So this center is much bigger. This yellow center is much bigger than those flowers. But I'm going to go ahead and use it anyway. I think it looks nice. It kind of reminds me of a bachelor button, right, in the periwinkle. And then go ahead, I'm just going to manipulate those petals with my fingers, and hopefully not tear any more off. There we go. But I wanted to show you, so we have this straight die in the set, this one, and this is what it cuts out. And this is super fun. And I'm going to take your pick tool. I'm going to just kind of use my pick end of the take your pick tool, and I'm going to run that end through across the tool in my thumb here a couple of times, just to kind of soften that paper so that I can start just rolling this up. And you want to roll the strip fairly tight, and my fingers are in the way, I apologize. But I'll show you here in a minute. Get my big fat fingers out of the way so you can see what it looks like. But I am just rolling this up, and it kind of will take on a flat appearance, but if you press it, you can kind of fix that. So I'm here at the end, right? I've just got a little bit of a tab here left. And I'm going to go ahead and apply some glue on the bottom of that cut, not where the little fringes are cut. And I'm just going to hold that over for just, I got to hold this for a second. This takes a little bit to set because we're going to need to manipulate. And I'm just squeezing this. It's not holding yet. I'm squeezing this so it'll be round again, because when you roll it, it tends to get a little flat. And let me clean my fingers off here real quick. Get some of the glue off because everything's sticking to me. This is what I mean. If you don't like sticky fingers, this may not be the project for you. But it's all good. It all works out. Okay. So, very tiny. I've got a tightly rolled little ball here, right? And all I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it at the base where it's solid. And I'm going to start just pulling out those little fringes. And you want to try and separate them if you can. Now you can have a little tight bud, right? The center of your flower, or it can be as loose as you want it. So you just kind of keep working those little fringes out from the center. And they can withstand some pretty good manipulation. But that's what you end up with. And it makes for quite a pretty flower center. Now, I will tell you, you're going to need to apply a fair amount of glue here on the bottom. So that this, and you're going to need to hold it for a few minutes. And I'm just going to hold it like that. And while we're waiting for this to dry, tomorrow starts the Designer Series paper sale at Stampin' Up! And that'll run June 1st through the 30th. Select Designer Series papers will be 15% off. Stampin' Up! Also is doing a starter kit plus beginning tomorrow as well for the month of June. So for $99, you can get your starter kit with $155 worth of products in your kit. So usually you get $125 worth of product for $99. But for the month of June, you can join Stampin' Up!, get your starter kit for $99 and get $155 worth of products. So that's a really good deal. Plus, you can add 15% off Designer Series paper to your starter kit if you want. So that's awesome. So there's our little flower with the tall center. It's kind of whimsical, but it's cute, right? And I'm getting close to 1:30 here. Here's another little flower that I did with these die cuts. So this is all 4 petals, 2 large, 2 small, all set, put together with just some little centers. Very simple. And you can see I had lots of plans here. of putting flowers together. And let me just share one last thing with you. So these are all my leaves, and these are my spare centers, and I'm definitely going to keep all this, right? The flowers that I don't put together, because I can use them for future projects. I'll have them already cut out. So you get 3 different types of leaves. You have 2 solid leaves, and here are the dies for those. 2 solid leaves and 1 kind of open leaf in the Paper Florist set. So those are those. And then here are the other 2 leaves in the set. And these leaves cut out with these little dash lines, right? And I believe, I can't say for certain, but I believe that if I kind of put my thumbnail against that dash line and push up with my index finger along that dash line, and then you're able to manipulate the leaf to give it more dimension, to make it look like each of these little, sections of the leaf are folded up. So I don't know if you can tell the difference or not. And it's hard to see on the dark flowers, but yeah. I believe that's what those little dash lines are for. And then this particular leaf has those small lines as well. So if you were to go ahead and just fold up at each of those dash lines, it gives your leaf a bit more dimension. Maybe if I put it down against the white, you might be able to see it better. Akiko, absolutely. Working with this die set is fantastic for scraps. In fact, hold on, let me see here. I pulled out my scrap box, and these were all the scraps that I pulled out to create today's little pieces to make these flowers. But anyway, so lots of fun. I'm telling you, you need this die set. Real quickly, let me wrap up the Starter Kit Plus. If you think you'd like to become a demonstrator, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to answer all of your questions. Even if you're on the fence and you're not sure about it, give me a call or send me an email, and I will absolutely get back with you and answer your questions. Also, coming on July 6th, there will be some new online exclusives. You can visit my website today, inkystampers.com, to read about that and to see a little preview of on a flyer of some of the upcoming online exclusives that will be released to customers on July 6th. So that is it. That's what I had to share today, and I hope you enjoyed it. This is just so much fun. I totally lost track of time when I was playing with this set. Just so much fun. So I hope you get the set, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I have. I can see myself using this a lot. But like, for instance, here's a little, look at all the little bits and pieces off. But here's a little wood plaque that I picked up at the craft store, right? I mean, super cheap. I would probably, take this twine off and maybe put some Stampin' Up! Twine or something in here. But I would lightly sand this, maybe paint it black for Valentine's Day. That would really make the flowers pop. But if you did pink and red or, whatever. Whoopsie, I knew that little petal was going to come off. If you did little pink and white and red flowers on a little heart, how cute would that be? As like a little Valentine's gift for like a little girl maybe, or a friend. I just think it would be really a lot of fun to do. So hopefully I've given you some ideas on how to use these dies. Hope you'd enjoyed it. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I will talk to you all next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.